Oh,
I like your phone.
Huh?
I like your phone case.
I like it too. I remember I was listening to some of the stuff I asked your mom, and then remembering what I regretted not asking her about some of the things. And
maybe I know.
But like I was just wondering, like, what do you remember the most about your mom and dad when you were growing up?
One thing about my dad, he worked all the time. He was working all the time, sometimes 3 jobs. And
Big family.
Yeah, but when he worked swing shift or something, we had to be quiet. No running through the house. No, no nothing. You had to be quiet. Dad's sleeping. That's carried over to me.
Yeah.
My grandkids.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's considerate.
Shh, be quiet.
Yeah, that's just considerate.
I just don't start running through the house and stuff. I mean, when you have, basically there was the 4 of us that were together. There was me, Tom, Steve, Richard, that we pretty much, I grew up with the boys. So I was more of the boy than the girl. Tomboy. But Pat got married, I think she lost her first baby.
I know, a little girl, Jamie Lynn.
I don't know there. And it was at Christmas time at Grandma's house. Bertha. One time my birthday, I was about 6, I guess. And I didn't even know. I told my mom, we were at Grandma and Grandpa's a long time. We were at Grandma and Grandpa's. And she said, honey, we used to live there. Well, I says, well, how come I don't remember the other kids? I don't remember them being there. Just being me, Grandma, Grandpa, you know. And when he had his heart attack, they had the big green oxygen tanks next to the bed. I was about, I think, 6. Grandma went someplace, and so I was in charge, and if he wanted something, he'd always go tell me, can I get a glass of water? And I bring it to him. He kept me entertained while she was gone.
Yeah.
She had 5 kids, and they were living at Mom and Dad's, Grandma and Grandpa's. 5 kids, pregnant with Richard, 3 working men, my dad, my uncle, Harry Lee was there, and somebody, she said, oh, and Grandpa, 3 different shifts.
This is the other side. I mean, this is your family, but this isn't the family that I'm interested in.
Oh, what are you talking about?
I'm talking, like, I want to know about, like, your siblings, and then I want to know about, like, your mom's siblings and what you remember about them. So it's, like, anything that's my bloodline.
Well, I remember Uncle Sonny, the one time when the beer truck came to the house in the driveway. The beer truck pulls up, backs in
My mother
there.
had a beer truck, too.
Yeah, and then all these cases of beer, because you had to have a certain many before the
Right.
truck would come, opened up the garage, and then he had all this beer put in there. And then I said, I don't know where this was, but I remember him saying, well, if you can't find me here, I'll be at Vince's.
Yep.
If I'm not home, I'm at Vince's.
Yep.
And I remember Aunt Norma's place that we walked to the little store.
Yeah. Everything was pretty within. All right, wait, which place? Woodside or?
I don't know. I had a white picket fence outside of it. And
About what year?
that would be in the 50s.
No, I don't know what that would have been then.
I know Mom the boys were cutting up in the back seat. I was in the back seat with the boys. She reached back and she grabbed, it was my hair. It wasn't even me doing it. It was them 2. And she grabbed my hair and pulled my hair. Mom, so I said it was them, those 2 boys.
Was it Sanchez? Was it Redwood City?
No, I don't think so.
Modesto,
because we walked to the little store.
Yeah. I've never been there. So, yeah.
And then the one time when we were in, because I can remember us sitting in with Grandma and Grandpa, and the house was real little, and Mom would always tell us, stay away from the river. Don't go down the river. Don't go down this way. Stay away from the river. Constantly telling us, don't go down there. And then I remember Grandma and Grandpa were playing cards in the kitchen. Well, they had a toaster that was chrome. She caught Grandpa looking at her, and in the toaster, he could see her card. Yeah, and she go, oh yeah.
That's funny.
Well, Grandma had a thing about. These are stories from my mom. Okay, not ending up. He would, because Grandpa was real social. Grandma could just climb up. This is what she'd do to piss him off. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to talk to you.
I can believe that.
So she wouldn't. She
Yeah.
didn't talk to him. I remember that little house in set back off the road, and a huge tree. I don't know what kind of tree, it was oak or something. It was a big old tree. For kids, like, you know, it could have been a small tree.
I know, isn't it funny?
But it was huge. In this little house with the thing Mom said, stay away from the river. Don't go down that road. I don't know where the heck she was at then. Well, she was at, or maybe we're outside playing. Because that's what we did. Kids going outside and played.
Oh, yeah.
You never played in the house.
No.
You know, you were outside.
Yep, all the time
Yeah,
outside.
swing, and so I remember that, the Modesto. And then I was talking to the kids today about when Uncle Sonny, didn't he work for the Parks and Ranger? Then I was 14.
So we always got in for free.
Right, and I think there was like a little family reunion there.
Yeah. And I can't, what's the name of it?
The park?
Yeah, what was the name of the park that we went to? It was was it up in Woodside or?
Yeah, I think it was Woodside, but I can't remember the name of it.
Remember the name.
And Glo and I were playing horseshoes. And there was a stake in the ground with the horseshoes.
Do you remember what year it was?
50s. So I
So
can tell
50,
you.
so I wasn't around.
I was 14.
Okay.
I was about 14.
Okay.
So I was in the. So I ended up. She and I were playing horseshoes, and for some reason, I took my left leg and I went like this, moved it over that stake, and it ripped my leg open.
Ooh,
See?
ooh, I see that scar.
That scar.
Wow.
It took 6 bandages. So Glo took me down to the ranger station, put 6 bandages on there, band-aids, cleaned it up, put there, peroxide. Oh my God, that burned so bad.
Yeah.
And then we just went back playing.
And methylate. Did you get that on you? The orange stuff. Remember?
Might have. I don't remember. I just
Funny, I
remember.
remember that stuff.
I don't remember that. And then on the way home, we stopped at a hotel. I think it was out of Bakersfield. There's a hotel that has a plane coming down in the roof. Us kids were amazed. I thought, look at that. It looks like it was crashing right into the hotel, and right across the parkway there was the restaurant. We ate there. And then Mom cleaned up and rebandaged mine. And my dad looked at it and says, yeah, she needed stitches. Should have stitches in there. And then I just wheeled over. You know, like kids do.
Cost too much money to go get stitches.
They would have. Dad would have taken me. Yeah. So he said it. He looked at it and said, "Oh, that's a bad one. I should have had stitches." Yeah. So my dad was a corker. One time he said, Tom and him got into it in the kitchen. Okay, teenage boys. Boys are supposed to take the trash out. We do dishes, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom and I would take turns, washing and drying. Tom would dry, but then I'd be washing, and then he'd take the dish towel. This is when we lived on Louise. Take it, roll it all up. Bam! He slapped me in the butt. So this one time we were doing it, I took a dish. I broke it over his head. I got in trouble for that, but he didn't do it to me anymore. And another time, I remember Mom, the heater, the pilot light went out. So Mom went to light the heater in the back porch. It blew up. Caught her whole arm on fire. And us kids watching her screaming.
I can't imagine.
Oh, it was horrible.
Like, how old were you?
50s again, because we're just kids. And watching that.
How big was that house on Louise? Because I know
3-bedroom. Pat and I shared the small room right off the living room, which now is the big living room.
Okay.
Okay, which my ex-husband's the one that did all that paneling
really?
in there. Yeah, Jim did all that. And then there was Mom and Dad's room. They had twin beds because he was off. His shifts were different.
Mm-hmm.
And she had these blue silk satin or taffeta bedspreads. Not to sit on the beds, never. The only phone we had was turquoise, and it was in her room. Jefferson 7 1601, our phone number.
You never forget your childhood phone
Oh
number,
my God.
ever.
We were on a party line, and then the bathroom. There's Mom and Dad's room, then the bathroom, and then there was the boys' room, 2 bunk beds. So Bill was at home at that time. He left when he was 12 or 13.
Where'd he go?
Ride horses. He never went to high school.
Interesting.
He went to ride horses with the Maloneys, Sweeneys, and the Maloneys to become a jockey.
How was your mom about that?
I think she was okay. I mean, that's what he.
It's a different world.
I mean, see, Bill,
it's a totally different world
I mean,
we're talking about.
When you see Bill, he was like 5'2".
Yeah, he's a
weighed
little guy.
105, 110 pounds on that big old horse. I mean,
He probably was a pretty good jockey. Why didn't he stay at?
He rode with Willie Shoemaker. They were friends. And he said when we were in Tijuana, when we were in Caliente, okay, so these poor little Mexican kids would come to him. Bill was always giving them stuff, money, giving them stuff because they were poor. He was more money.
Yeah.
But that ended when Glo was his girlfriend. When she got pregnant with Tammy, that ended his career. Because he says it's not right to have a wife and a baby and on the road.
Traveling all the time. He's right. I respect that.
But he did have another girlfriend in Washington State, okay?
More children, perhaps.
Think so.
Don Amer.
That's a possibility. A possibility because... But her name was also Gloria, too. This is really weird. Her name was Gloria, but I can't remember what. But he had a girlfriend. Glo probably knows. Glo probably knows. But he had a girlfriend in Washington. And there, somewhere in my stuff, I have a picture of my brother and my grandpa together. And it's Washington State, Bay Meadows maybe, where they rode up there. The grandpa was with him, and there was an article in the paper. I have that. Somewhere in my stuff, I have that. I may have already sent that to you a long time ago.
I'm not sure. I mean, it could have, and I just don't remember.
Yeah, so, and then Tammy was born, which is her real name, Tammy, with an I-E. Tammy Marie, because Glo's middle name is Marie. So, she was born in 58. Yeah, January of 58. They got married in May of 57. Yeah, she was born in January 14th.
So,
58.
I just lost what I was going to ask you.
Pat got married, let's see. She married Larry. I remember him.
I've had his family contact me.
Really?
Through DNA. Yeah, because I have Josh's DNA, and so the people who matched to him before I made it private maybe I have Keith's. I can't remember if I have Josh or Keith's, or I even have both of them.
You have both of them because I gave him kits, and I had to redo. When I was doing Keith, he would take a puff off a cigarette. No, now you wrecked it. We got to start all over again. And I think that's what happened to Craig, because I told Craig I would do his DNA and give him a free kit. And the first one I gave him, he can't find it. He started doing it.
But see, I think you could get reimbursed for these kits that people haven't used. I am almost positive you can contact Amazon Ancestry, and they will send you replacement kits. I'm almost positive of it.
Well, I got some for Jesse and Yolanda. Okay, they didn't want to do it,
but it's okay.
But Tristan did. Tristan, their son
I've seen
did.
his.
Yeah, he did his. But They didn't want, Jesse for some reason didn't want to do his.
It's a very private
I don't
choice.
know why. He just didn't want to. So, and now they're getting divorced. A couple months ago,
you start hearing about how people are finding old criminals in DNA results. So
they have pictures.
You never know what. Maybe they did something they shouldn't have done 30 or 40 years ago, or whatever it is, you know. And
most of the time it was robbery or something like that because it was money or...
I think they're only going after murderers. I don't think...
Yeah, I know. It's like... But I've looked at some of them. Some of them were just like, oh, they got busted for robbery. It's probably, you look at the time, like the 30s, well, everybody was...
Bobby, that group too, robbing the... they were robbing the offices they were cleaning with Walt. Taking pills and then selling them, and
oh yeah, they did that for a long time.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you.
Oh, okay, ask me.
I wanted to ask you. Okay, let's see if we can lock in. What do you remember about the car ride, the car trip, the accident? This is Grandpa Hill, Jess, right? Just not Grandpa Hill. Sorry, that's my Jess Creed, right?
Yeah. Okay. Jesse Walter Creed.
All right.
Our grandpa.
Right. Your mom's dad.
My mom's dad. So this had to be, because she was born in 1916. She was about 7 years old when this happened. She told me...
1923 then was approximately.
Yeah, about that.
Okay.
That her dad was invited to a card game with 6 of his friends going to Eureka.
But they were living in Happy Camp at that time?
Happy Camp or Side Valley. Either one. I don't know.
Yeah.
So for some reason, she doesn't know why, he just didn't go. He declined to go. And on the way back, these guys drove off the road and they all perished in the creek below. All of 6 of them. All died.
And what counties are possibly, are you talking about Eureka, Shasta?
No, Shasta was where Grandpa was born. That was different.
All right, so Eureka?
Because we're there in Siskiyou County.
Right.
Shasta's the other way.
Yeah.
That's where Mount Shasta is.
So what newspaper area would have carried it? Because Siskiyou was pretty small, but I think there's papers back to that point.
Oh, yeah, I was telling Becky today, if you sneezed, it was in the paper.
Yeah, everything. So-and-so had a visitor from their aunt. And
and then I used the word Wilson. Mrs. Wilson went to Sacramento for the weekend.
It was wonderful, though. It's kind of fun to look at.
But there's nothing on here about an accident.
Yes, there's got to be.
6 people died.
Yeah, we're missing it somehow.
That went off a cliff, went off the road and down into the creek.
It would have even made it to the San Francisco papers. It would have. I mean, it's a big deal.
That's a big deal. That many people dying in a car accident.
Like, I have one Creed, and I don't know if they're related to us, but he was in Missouri, and their house was hit by lightning, and they had 2 teenage daughters killed.
Oh, my.
It ran in papers everywhere, and he wasn't even anybody. I mean,
Yeah.
So, but I looked and looked trying to find who it was, because it was like a James Creed, and it never mentioned the daughters' names. I was frustrated. I wanted to know.
Well, probably you could still look that up.
Yeah, I could probably look it on Find a Grave if I could go back and figure out.
Remember I told you about the Creed in Ohio? I stopped and took a picture, and the guy came out and asked me. I said, your house was really interesting, but there was a name and I took a picture of that plaque. It said Creed on it. I think I sent you.
I think you did.
Yeah,
you did.
And I thought, there's our surname. What are they doing in Ohio? Where did they come from?
Lots in Ohio, like a lot in Ohio.
Well, that's now when you told me that, because I didn't know, because I just thought, we're from California, and
right,
but they're actually on the South Coast too.
Yeah,
there's
a lot in Ohio. I don't know, so we'll look at James Henderson Creed, who was one of our great uncles. He was in Illinois, and he served in the Mexican War with our grandfather, who was Robert Creed, who would have been Walter Monroe's father. And so so I don't know at what point Robert decided he'd leave Illinois, and they had probably come from the Carolinas or something, or Tennessee. And then he went to Washington State and Oregon, and came down, then went back up, and then he ended up back in Louisiana. I mean, this guy went everywhere. It's like this is where some of us creeds get our wanderlust.
Well, I think my mom, because my mother loved to go.
Yep.
She loved to go, and she loved it here. She would really love it here.
Yeah, she would.
Even though she's sitting in a cabin, she's fine if she can go out and look at the lake.
Yeah.
You know, it brings back memories.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, and when we went up there in 2004, when we went to bury the ashes up there at the cemetery, and that was when Mike and Mary were with us and came. Well, we had got
so mad I didn't go. Big mistake.
But Mom and I had actually booked since it was Happy Camp, a hotel, but we had the N1, okay? Had rained. There was a big puddle in the front. Door wouldn't close properly for some reason. I said, Mom, we're not staying here. No way we're staying. We're going to go into town. We're going to go get another hotel. This is a memory. We just look around here, and that's where we ended up. Part of her ashes went, and this is when my mom said, Michael went down the hill to the river, and he started to sprinkle the ashes. Oh, Mom freaked. She never liked the water. She hated the water. You can't put the ashes in the water. Okay, so Mom said this, so he stopped.
So who's she talking about?
Michael, your brother.
But whose ashes?
Norma, your grandmother. Her ashes.
I wonder if she almost drowned. Because where your mother was so worried about that river, telling you and Modesto, don't go, over and over and over. Like there's experience there. Something had
all
happened.
Of us, don't go down by the river. Stay away from the river.
So it would make sense that Grandma possibly would have had some type of accident out there. And
it's possible, because my mom loved the water. My mom loved the water. But she said Norma did not like the waters. And she was freaking out. Literally freaking out there at the campground at Happy Camp. And so we took the rest of the ashes, and then we went up to the cemetery.
Yeah, we did the same thing.
And buried him. And she said, oh, bury her with Aunt Goldie. They have the same personality. So
I wish I'd been there. That's one of my regrets.
Did I tell you about the big dog?
I probably. And I
forgot. My gosh. We're there. Okay, and the Shiners are buried there too. There's like 9 of them, buried there. And Goldie was married to the Shiner.
Yep.
And Mama told me she had a baby that died.
Yeah.
Okay. And she didn't like Chinese. They had the little store.
I heard
there was an old Chinaman.
Did not like.
She hated that, and he'd come in there and she took the broom, run him out.
Okay, who's she?
Goldie.
Yeah, a lot of racism.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was.
Yeah. And it was like, and then, we were at the crossroads. We came to a crossroad. Mom's looked over there. She said, oh, there's my grandpa's store.
Oh, I wish I'd been there.
Did
you take a video?
I took pictures. I didn't have no video.
Yeah.
I took pictures. And some of my pictures, I do have them somewhere.
You probably sent them to me, but a video with her voice talking about that would have been so cool.
There was no video.
Yeah.
There was no cell phone. This is in 2004. So we were there, and I said, oh, I got to get a picture of it. And there again, a guy came out when he saw me over there taking pictures and everything. I wanted to know what I was doing. I said, I'm going to tell you, this used to be my great-grandfather's place. This used to be his.
Yeah.
Way back. He says, really? I says, yeah. What was his name? I told him his name. That was Walter.
Right.
Walter Monroe Creek.
Right. Who was also a teacher.
And a surveyor.
I didn't know about the surveyor.
He was a surveyor.
But he was also the grocer and the postmaster. Jack of all trades.
Yeah. And he was a surveyor too. Miner.
I didn't know. Okay, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah. Periodically, Mom told me her grandpa was her teacher.
That would make sense.
And they're all in one room, and they're all different ages at that time. But at that when we buried your grandma's ashes, Aunt Norma, this out of the forest. Why do they put cemeteries on the side of a hill? God! It's like we're walking up a hill. Michael has her mom by one arm, and I have her by the other, and get her up there. Mary, I think they took pictures too.
Yeah, I've got some of those. I've got
But
those.
this huge. Well, I look back and I think maybe it might have been a wolf. We thought it was a big dog, kind of blackish, brownish color, gold eyes. It came down and it was looking at us. Don't make eye contact, see? So it's coming toward us. So let's go to the car. It's time to go to the car. So we go down there and we get almost to the car. We're down. Look back. He's turned around and he disappears back into the forest.
Could have been a
But
combo.
you know,
Wolf shepherd.
no, I think about spirits.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I think about spirits, and since these were Native Americans,
Yeah.
the Shriners
Yeah.
were Native American. I'm very much into that and thinking this may have been a spirit coming to visit.
Yeah.
You know?
Watching
And
over.
he never growled. He just looked at us.
That's cool.
And it's like, oh my God. I got pictures of him. But we figured we better get back to the car because you don't know.
No.
It could have been a wolf.
Yeah.
It was big. It was a big, well, I called it a dog, but it just went right back up and disappeared. We were in the car and let's get the hell out of here. So then Mom and I stayed at the Best Western there in Wairika. And then we went to the library. It's in the courthouse. Okay, there's a courthouse in the library. First I went to the courthouse. Tried to get Mom's birth certificate.
Yeah.
So I gave him the name. Mom's right there. Write out a check, $15. She goes downstairs, comes back, no record. I go, what? Look again, another $15 for her to go down. And it was during this time where I don't know, there was identity theft and all this. So we had, why are you here? We had to fill out this form. Why are you here?
It's
why
like
do
that
you,
now, too.
Why do you want these?
Right.
And I said, my mother's right here. She wants her birth certificate. That's what we're here for. Well, there's no file. There's nothing on record. So I'm just thinking maybe she was just a lazy bitch and didn't want to walk downstairs and just went out of sight for like 5 minutes, go to the bathroom, come back and say, hey, no record. How do I know? I don't know.
But the thing is like when I was looking for some funeral records, some cemetery records in California, I talked to somebody and the person was really honest with me. And it was where Grandma Creed, that funeral home. And she said, there's just boxes. There's no organization.
Oh my God.
We've just got, she said, no, I could just kind of glance and see if I could find something. She said, but we've got boxes. There's no organization by year.
That was
name.
something you would be wonderful to do.
Right. But that's like, and that might have been the situation with the certificates where she didn't want to admit what a mess it was. So.
But that was $30 is like.
She shouldn't take any money. I don't understand that.
Yeah, it was like $15.
That would make me mad.
$30 every time she went down. So then we went to the library. We went down to the library and going through the old, what do you call them, fish things, whatever.
Yeah, microfiche.
Yeah, going through them. Old newspaper. That's where I found out her grandmother, Josephine, had died and it was undetermined. It said in there. And I got a copy of that newspaper thing where she had died and it's undetermined how she died.
She was old though.
No, she wasn't that old. She's like 55 or something like that. She was
Wow.
not that old. So I've been my our great grandmother. Yeah.
I wish it was easier to get death records because I think we are owed the knowledge of what people who came before us died of. I really do, especially your immediate bloodline. I think we're owed that, and it's such a joke trying to get anything from California.
Oh,
it's absolutely horrible.
that's like crazy. So we didn't get. So I went searching for Mom because in the newspaper, when you birth, it's a big thing.
Right.
Everybody, nothing. I went,
and that's
and you know what? I went back to 1915 thinking, well, maybe they made a mistake.
Right.
It could be maybe she was born in
Right.
1915, and then I did 1916, and then I did 1917
Yeah.
because those days, like I said, people lied, and then they started charging. The county started charging $50 for the birth things because so many people were having births and they weren't registering the births.
Interesting.
They were not registering.
So it was a $50 fine?
Yeah, for not registering.
Interesting.
So maybe she was one of them that never got registered.
How did she ever get a driver's license?
How did she get Social Security?
Yeah, that had to. There has to be something.
Their mom, actually, Uncle Kenny was the one who verified the birth of my mom.
Yeah. See, I've got Grandma Norma's delayed birth certificate, and I can't remember who verified it and stuff. But it
had to be Kenny.
There has to be one for your mom.
Yeah, it has to be Kenny.
Yeah.
He's the oldest.
Maybe that's what needed to be said. It's going to be under delayed records, and maybe that's a separate filing source.
Could be too. I thought we did all that, though.
Probably.
I thought you did that.
I don't remember
I thought you already checked all that
and
stuff.
You got to remember, they're always adding. Like, they don't have, when it says California Birth Index, it's not every single.
And it only started in 1905.
Yeah.
1905.
But even then, there's going to be things that are sporadically missing.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, they had fires, too.
True. Yep.
They had fire and everything was destroyed. They had no backups. You know, these were all the original files.
Yep.
They're gone.
Yep. So sad.
And now our whole state of California is burning up.
Constantly on fire.
Now the sequoias. Yeah. We were just there 2 years ago.
I feel like every time we talk about going to California, like on a road trip or going to Monterey or something, it's like, oh, look, Big Sur's on fire.
Well,
we won't even be able to get over the road.
Every time I talk about taking Mom's ashes.
Yeah.
California, Northern California
Constantly
is
there.
on fire.
The campfire, everything.
Everything.
Yeah, out there.
Everything's on fire. And I says, I've had Mom's ashes since 2012.
Yeah. She understands. She doesn't care. She really doesn't care.
Right now I have, because I haven't changed out, but I have her in a Christmas box with a little Christmas tree over there and little angels. I have this all on her box. And then I have us, Mom and the 6 kids, picture of us right behind her. And then I have Mom, because she had the dementia. So in 2009, I got a picture of Mom and me under the Christmas tree right there. One of the last pictures.
Yeah.
Where, you know, we knew when Bill's 70th birthday, when we had his birthday at their party, at their house, Mom and me went. And I was noticing then, and she would get mad when she couldn't get it out. She'd get so mad when she was trying to say something and it wasn't coming out.
Yeah.
That, you know, that's another thing I always worry about because our grandmother,
Freed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Then Mom. But Mom lived to be 96 and 5 months and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
She outlived them all.
But I don't want to be a vegetable on a bed.
I think the last 4 years she was. But I think she was 92 when she had her hip operation.
Once I don't know people, I don't want to be around anymore.
So,
I just don't.
That's why Becky didn't bring the kids.
Exactly. I never went and saw my grandmother when she wasn't grandma anymore. She's like an empty shell. I didn't want to go see your mom. That would have broke my heart.
I know.
You know, and some people could do that.
Tell you, did you know, because I had issues with George those last few years with his diabetes and going to the wound care center 3 times a week, getting his legs because they would just ooze. And the doctor kept telling him, says, you know, George, we can put you in the hospital. We can just drain all that off and you're going to feel so much. Nope, not going to do it.
Oh, girl,
not going to do it. And the little gal that used to wrap his legs, he called her Trouble. I don't know what her name was, but her name was Trouble. So when the wound care center is right next to the hospital and the doctor's office, okay? So when he was in ICU, I said, because he couldn't talk.
Right.
They had him ventilator, blah, 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 to go get Trouble. So I went to get her. I sent, because there was a guy, what they call an angel, that's there with you if there's anything you need, like coffee or whatever.
Wonderful people who go in and volunteer their time.
And he kept asking, is there anything I can do for you? And get coffee or anything? I says, oh, can you go to the wound care? There's a little gal there. Her name is, all I know is Trouble, because that's what George used to call her. And she used to wrap his legs, and she did come. She came. She was actually supposed to sing it at his funeral, but she didn't show up. Maybe she couldn't. I don't know. Maybe she had to work or whatever. But she was planning to sing. She was so cute. Little, I think she was Filipino. Cute little girl. Just sweet. So that's how I wrapped his legs 3 times a week. But I had George, and then the same thing Pat had.
Yeah.
Larry, same time. And there's so many things. For 3 years, I really didn't see Mom.
Yeah.
I feel bad about that, even though I know.
It is
and
what
then
it
after
is.
Richard, you know, and he ended up with the trailer and everything in it. Because Darwin had, when Mom sold the house in Corona, the trailer was $42,000.
What a deal.
She got the cash, gave it to Dar, and Dar, they put it in Mom's name and his name.
Okay.
Now I don't get this.
No, that's normal.
No, why didn't they put in Pat's name?
No, that's totally normal because Michael
Yeah.
was the trustee for my brother.
But he wasn't a trustee. I mean, this is.
Well, I mean,
he was on the deed, like for the trailer.
I think sometimes it's just to avoid things looking a little not quite right.
It should have been my sister.
That they probably talked about, and he's probably always handled business stuff.
Oh, he did.
So it makes sense that she would not be on that. I wouldn't be.
But you know, he sold the house in Huntington Beach. That was supposed to be her boy's inheritance. He's the one that wanted to sell the house. That was supposed to be Keith and Larry's, or Larry and Keith's inheritance was that house. Because that was her house before she married him.
I wonder, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was when she was married to Larry.
Mm.
The abuser.
Yeah. It's weird, and you married somebody who was abusive, even though your dad, like, as far as I know,
he was
never would have done anything like that.
No, he never spanked me, because there was a rule that my mom told me about the Creeds, okay? Grandpa Creed took care of the boys. Grandma Creed kept the girls. Because there's a rule here. What a young girl experienced from her dad, this is what she's going to remember or think about. This is how men are going to be.
Interesting.
So
that's pretty wise.
So there was no correction from Grandpa.
But no verbal correction? I mean, everybody...
I'm not talking about spankings and all that. I'm talking about
spanking. Physical correction. Yeah.
Not about don't do that or get out of there or do that.
That's
it was just, he had a thing about this is the way the women take care of the girls.
Makes perfect sense in some
ways.
Because
you
just grow up thinking your mom beat you.
Yeah.
But then maybe the thing is the difference is you don't grow up maybe thinking that that's normal for a man to be hitting a girl.
Well,
because we certainly don't want our girls to think that.
That's exactly it.
So
if you grew up with that and you're thinking, oh, that's acceptable.
Yeah.
No, Grandpa Creed had that down. The boys sat on one side of the table, the girls on the other. That way they can have in control. I got the boys, you got the girls.
Yeah, I bet.
So that was interesting. I finding out from my mom how those, because my dad, I never got a spanking from my dad ever. I would just get this.
He could be a real grump butt.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But I don't remember ever seeing anything. Well, you guys were all too old. You know, by that time, obviously, I wouldn't have seen anything. But I would be surprised if you said, "Oh, my dad hit me all the time."
No.
Because I would be like, "That's definitely not who I would have expected."
No, he would just say, he'd always say, "Boy, when I come to the house, make sure you have you bring money, have money with you, because if you break down or something, and always have a half a gas a tank.
Yeah.
You know, half a tank of gas, okay." And then when I come to the house, I'd rake up the leaves, because it was hard for Dad to do, anything like that anymore. So I go out there, and this was weird. After he passed, and I was out in the front there. So out in the front yard, I'm out there raking up the leaves. There was a damn $10 bill there.
And
I looked up at the sky and said, "Thanks,
stuff
Dad.
like that.
Thanks, Dad."
You gotta know that those are angels. That's just.
And you heard about the balloon thing. Did your mother ever tell you about that balloon?
I don't know.
She went, when she came down, this was after Dad passed. And she went outside, and, you know, Mom had that bench out there and by the side there where they go out and smoke.
Mm-hmm. I must know this because I was there after.
I don't know if you were right.
I was there for the funeral,
Yeah.
but I was there like a week after.
Yeah, things were kind of hectic in there. And so your mom was sitting out there smoking, and all of a sudden she looks up in the sky. Something up there, and this comes down. It's going, and it was a big heart balloon. It says, "I love you," and it landed in Dad's garden. So she went and came in the house to get us and say, "Look at this balloon." It was took off.
Ah.
It was gone. It was, you know, I would have taken a picture of that, of course. And
Of course.
I would have taken a picture of it. And there it went. Well, a week later, now Keith had a thing that after he ate, that he and I think Gary or somebody was with him. They'd always go for a walk. It might have been Josh. Going for a walk right after dinner. That was his thing. Okay, just settle your food. He told about the balloon. So we were walking, and this balloon came down, landed in front of him. "I love you."
That's
He says,
cool.
"You know what, when we come back around the walk, we're going to get that balloon." Disappeared.
I love
That was
stuff
Dad.
Like that. Yep. I love stuff like that.
I truly, and see here, that's like 35 miles away. You know, and like a week later, who knows? But we're just assuming, hey, that's Pops.
Yep.
And then I slept in Dad's bed. Well, Pat went to the funeral place, you know, and I wanted to go with her. No, she didn't want me to go.
You should have gone. You had every right to
I know,
go.
but she didn't want me to go.
But you let her do that.
I know. I that's my fault.
Yes.
I wanted to go.
Because I would have gone said, "No, this is my dad too. I don't care."
Well,
you know,
I don't know.
but who cares? This
Right.
is your dad.
It's my dad.
And so, no, you should have been able to go. If you wanted to go and participate, take care of that.
She wanted to put him in a suit. I said, "Dad never wore a suit." I'm sorry.
That's for the formality though. That is typical.
No, but no, that was not Dad. He wore his
Yeah.
he wore his Levi's, his shirt, and if it was cold, he had his Pendleton on.
Yeah.
That was Pops and suspenders.
Yep. And
Okay, his suspenders. So Pat came back and I says, "You forgot his suspenders."
she's very proper.
Yeah, but that was the way he dressed.
Yeah, but she's like looking at how are other people going to judge. Do you think she's not like that?
I don't know.
I've always felt like she cared a lot about appearances.
Yeah, but the suit thing that was totally out. Dad never wore it. Matter of fact, at my wedding, okay, he had a tuxedo. I'll wear it then. But when he got back to the reception, he went in the bathroom, changed his clothes, and he was done. He got his Levi's. That was Dad.
Yeah, I miss you.
That was Pops. It was just like,
I can still hear his voice in my head. Yeah, I miss him too.
rumble.
Yeah.
You little shits. That's what he called the kids.
My
You little
kids
shits.
loved him. Loved your mother. I mean, yeah.
You
Spent
little
as
shits.
much time with your mom and dad as they did with
I'm
my
so
mom.
thankful you could come and visit with them.
Yeah. They're a priority.
It's just like,
They really were.
I felt, and then I was telling you about the suspenders. So, my dog Misty was sleeping with me in Dad's bed that night, and we just kind of like a creaking noise. She's in the bed with me. She comes out from under. She's growling. And she comes out from underneath the covers, and I think, what the hell? There was this creaking, and Dad's coming. It looked like it was coming from his dresser. So I got the thing. He's looking for his damn suspenders. That's what. She forgot his suspenders, and he's in there, and she senses this. I mean, it's a dog.
Yeah.
And
I think they see a lot more than we do.
You know where Brandy used to lay when Dad was sick? It was in between Mom and Dad's room in the hallway. Okay, if you went to the bathroom, you had to step over him. That was like his guarding place. And then, right afterwards, Bill had to take him and have him put down.
Was he really? Was he old or?
He was kind of old, yeah. But he didn't like blacks.
Was?
Okay, this is my dad. You know they lived on the end of the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
They had the table there.
Your dad had a little racist stuff going on. Yeah, I remember that.
He always told us, "You guys can be friends with them, go to school with them, but you don't marry them, okay?"
That was I mean, if you look at your dad's generation, I'm not going to put that down because his generation is very much that's what people felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your Asians are even worse. If they want you to marry Asian, you want to keep your bloodline.
And I can kind of, not that I see that in some ways.
They're more racist than we are.
But you have to look at it as racist as much as you want to keep your bloodline. That's important. Who you are, your DNA, all that, your family line. That's important. So, I mean.
And I think, like, who do you think you are? That's saying.
Love that show.
I do too. Who do you think you are?
But
so we were sitting there and Brandy, my dad would go to the window. He's always going. My dad would be looking out that window down that cul-de-sac, seeing who's who. Looking at him. Okay, so this one day, Brandy jumps up in the chair right in front of Dad, and doing the same thing. He's looking down the cul-de-sac, just looking back and forth, just like my dad. My dad's right there, doing exactly the same thing as Dad's doing. The dog's doing it. And see how I was thinking about the blacks, because when Jarrett was staying there, because he was, Steve and Glenna had brought Jarrett over there after he got out of jail. Okay, so he was supposed to go to Colorado, but his paperwork wasn't in order.
Is he black?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Glenna's only child.
Oh, okay.
Is Jarrett. And see, he got in trouble for doing meth in his grandma's house. He got busted and went to jail. Well, he was in jail when his grandma died. Yeah, that killed him. That killed him because he was in jail when she died. So when he got out of jail, the parole officer brought him over. And my dad, okay, so my dad was like, okay, there was a bullet. Can't have any guns. So Bill took all my dad's guns. Took all of them over to their house. You being a felon, you can't have anything like that. So Bill took all the guns. And Jared happened to see there was a bullet there. Well, that had to go. Okay. So it was about a month, maybe 2 months, because it was before Christmas. I think they brought him over around September. And Glenna, and it was supposed to be temporary till he got his papers so he could go to Colorado live with them. Mm-hmm. Papers weren't coming, so then the parole officer would come and check on him. And she was black.
Oh.
Brandy started growling. So we had to put the dog in the back and close the door because we didn't want to make sure she's not going to bite something.
No, that'd be pretty bad.
That would be very bad, yeah. So the last time I was there when the parole officer came, and Dad was getting antsy because his whole schedule was changed now because this felon's living with him.
Yeah, he was his schedule mattered. Wheel of Fortune and
we are not leaving this house till I poop 3 times. And
yeah, he was just
that way. Just this way. So the parole officer came and papers, I guess, still not in order yet, and it's been 3 months. It was just before Christmas. So, and Jared was always helping my mom, cooking and dishes, and he was always helping Mom. Mom was saying, "You don't want him out of here. It's because he's helping me," and like that bad nitpicking stuff. So the parole officer was going to leave him there. He said, "No, you're taking him with you." I was right there. Nope, he's not staying anymore. He's been here 3 months. He's gone. He's out of here. Take him with you.
Where'd they take him?
Someplace else, halfway house or whatever.
Expedited it.
Something for the state to take care of, not him.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's his house, and he had him for 3 months, and he says, and Jared never held it against my dad. Never.
Do you remember, like, how old were you when Doris would have had? Would you have been born when Doris had Jim?
I was born in 42.
Right, he was born right.
No, he was born in the 30s.
Your 30s, yeah.
He was like 1934, like around Bill's time, because they had Bill and I just can't imagine 13 years old. I'm sorry, that's total. But those were different times, and one less mouth to feed, and yeah, depression and
different times.
Different times, yeah.
But she married a lot of times. Who knows? I mean, I think there were probably marriages we didn't even know about.
Ray I didn't like him. He was mean. They had a big old German Shepherd, too. I remember we stayed at their house one time. And every time we'd leave, the dog would get on the couch. Well, it had to go over the coffee table. Well, everything on that coffee table was off. When Doris came home, you were on the couch, weren't you? The dog was put like a kid, you know.
They always had dogs.
Oh, they always had dogs.
Yeah. Everybody in our family seemed to always have
had
dogs.
dogs. Yeah. Not cats, dogs.
Well, Grandma Creed had the cats. My mom had a few cats, but she was much more into dogs.
Well, Grandma Creed had cats. Because I remember feeding them in the kitchen, and she had all these open cans because she couldn't remember if she fed them or not.
Well, the cat, too, they never fixed them, so they were having kittens all the time.
Oh, there was a lot of cats in that house there when we went to visit. Last time I really seen her was there. And I think we went to see her when she was over in that little house, which she had a canary. Fell in love with that little canary. Us kids were out there looking at the canary singing away and everything. And it was she had a little white picket fence around that little place. I don't know where that was at. Menlo? Was that in Menlo, maybe?
I don't know. As far as I know, the last place she lived there was a nursing home on Woodside Avenue that she lived in.
That must have been it. I don't know.
And then she lived somewhere like Palo Alto or somewhere.
Oh.
I didn't see her much when I was a kid growing up at that time.
Well, we didn't either.
Yeah, because
my dad was always working.
Yeah.
He was, to him that was, and then his relaxation is the garden.
Right.
He loved his garden. I mean, we had everything. Peaches.
Yeah.
We even had an almond tree, and that was when I found out the almond tree has to have another almond tree.
It's amazing.
And the apricot, same thing. You got to have another one, apricot, or
I think it's so amazing how gardens grow and how you have to have certain things next to each other, and it's astounding.
We had tomatoes. So okay, they were so good. You could go pick them right off. They were nice and warm from the sunlight. You go pick them and eat them, and they were so good. And we always had plenty of squash and tomatoes. And we had a little red wagon, and Dad would pack it in there. He said, now, take it around to the neighbors.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody's got some.
Right.
Take whatever they want. And the grapes, he took his grapes one time. Oh, I know this was... Okay, he took the grapes down and had them pressed, and then they put them in the gallon jugs.
Oh, okay, for juice.
Okay, it was down on Beach in Lamson. There was a guy that did it. Put them in all these gallon jugs. So they were in the kitchen, and that we had the tile floors at that time. Had the tile floor, and Mom had in the corner there. She had, I don't know how many, 2 or maybe 4 of these gallon jugs. My dad had just left for work. My mom hears this explosion. She said it sounded just like a shotgun. Is what it sounded like. So when she came out of her bedroom, coming down the hall, we had that little hall.
Yeah.
And she felt something warm, and she thought to God it was blood.
Oh my gosh.
And she turned on the lights.
It's grape juice.
Which looks like blood.
Yeah.
But there was glass.
From the pressure cooker?
Everywhere.
Was it like in a pressure?
No. It fermented.
Ugh.
In those bottles, and then just blew up. And I'm telling you, the mess in the kitchen was all over the ceiling.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
All over the kitchen. I mean, my dad had just left. This, I think, when he worked at midnight shift. So he was working like midnight to whatever in the morning. And and that was, I remember that mess, and it was like, oh my God, there was glass everywhere. If anybody would have been there, they would have been killed or something.
Yeah.
Damage or glass in their face or whatever.
Right.
I mean, it was everywhere. It's like, oh my God. I remember that. And they used to go to Oakland every year and get a couple crates of apples and bring them back. And we'd have apples, everything, apple, whatever. Mom would, what she called Apple Betty. She made it really good, and we'd have that. And then the thing on Sunday, she would fix boysenberry, hot biscuits with boysenberry gravy.
Yeah.
Gravy over. I mean, it's really good. That was so good. Yeah, butter on those, and then you put that fresh out of the garden.
It would be good.
It was good with sugar, sweet, pissed.
So tell me some stories about my mom.
About your mom. Oh, one thing when she came to our house, she'd go to the thrift stores and go to these different places, and then she'd get whatever her treasures were, and then she'd put them in a box and have them UPS home.
Yep.
We did a thing of going out and shop.
Yeah.
And that's what she would do.
She always did that.
And then she had her beer in the morning, or cigarette. Beer and cigarette in the morning.
And coffee.
Black coffee.
Black coffee, or a little bit of sugar.
But I always drink my coffee black, and that's how you know it's a good cup of coffee. You put sugar and cream in it, nah, ain't coffee. It's got to be black.
Well, she was flying a lot of times, so that's why she would ship stuff back. And it used to be a lot cheaper to ship boxes and stuff back and forth. But
she used to get a big box.
Yep.
It was good size. And they come right to the house and pick it up.
Yeah.
Just call them, and she had it all set up.
This is the way to do it. You don't have to worry about it.
So I don't too much about your mom. Well, stories or anything much. Most of the time they just sit around bullshitted. Mom and her, about things,
I don't remember any of the stories or anything.
I don't
remember what they talked about or anything in particular.
I don't either, because family. A lot of time I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I just come up maybe a weekend or something like that, and then go back home because I was still working. That's my nightlife. It's motion.
Ah.
She's a little happy now. She got her pig.
She's sweet. What time is it?
I have no idea. 12:48. We're into collecting milk glass. We walk in, and there's this lady sitting behind the counter. So George asked her, "Well, do you have any milk glass here?" And she pointed over in the corner. So we started walking around. He says, "You're a lazy bitch. Why can't you get out of there and show us out there?" He's like, I said, "Shh, quiet, Lisa. Well, you're running a business. Why wouldn't you just get up and show us?" And lazy bitch, I said, "Shut up." We're over there, we get what we want. We come back.
She's in a wheelchair or something.
She's in a wheelchair. And we should have got the first clue when there was a ramp. When you walk out, and he goes, "Oh my God." I said, "George, you embarrassed me so bad." She had to hear you. She had to hear you. Lazy bitch, why don't you run the business? Why don't you get off your lazy ass? Oh God. That was the most embarrassing. The most embarrassing
Yeah,
thing.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Never went back there again.
Oh, yeah.
No. Because the place to go in Orange is all the antique stores. That's where they're all at. There's still quite a few of them left. But we used to go shopping there all the time. Swap meet. Ooh. Swap meet.
My mom too. Yeah, she loved all that stuff.
Yeah.
Lois, same thing.
Lois, yeah. Lois and her quilts. I wonder what happened to all of them.
I got a couple.
Oh, that's good.
Most of them from QVC. She had a lot of quilts from QVC.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Were they handmade though, or?
No, they're just
QVC. Oh, I thought maybe they was like family things.
No, it's so funny. I gave one to Braden, and he said, "Well, I thought I had something special." I said, "It belonged to your aunt," but it came from QVC.
Yeah.
I thought somebody made it or
That's what I'm
something.
thinking.
Oh.
But Becky has my grandmother's. It might even be my great grandmother's. Bertha. 2 quilts.
Yeah, I would love to have
One
a
of them
family quilt.
One of them still had a needle in it.
Wow.
I know.
I wish I had some of the clothes Grandma
One
made.
is like the rings, the wedding rings. and then the other one's side. It's two-sided, so you could flip it either way.
That's so cool.
You know, so I gave him to Becky long years
That's
ago.
so cool.
Yeah, and he destroyed you don't record that. Will destroyed the chest that says Aunt Doris was with me. Your auntie was with me and her husband. I forget who.
Which one?
I don't know. She probably Ray in the 40s. I don't know.
I have to look at this chart.
And then my dad, okay, she said it was windy as hell up there, dark as hell up on this hill in Laguna Beach. Wind was blowing like crazy. She says, your dad and his brother-in-law went out drinking. They went out. They come back in the middle of the night and they try to get in the house. They went to every door. They went to the door. They went to Amy, let us in. Amy, let us in. She's yelled at and said, you want out? You stay out.
I wish I had that spunk. I do not have that spunk.
And they slept in the car.
Yeah, I wish I was like that.
Yeah. She said, if you want that, you want out, now you just stay out.
And it makes me wonder, was Grandma Creed a little bit like that?
No, she was silent.
I know she was, but maybe in...
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Because, I don't know, sometimes you, like, where did she get that from? I mean, obviously we get stuff that's just part of our personalities.
I would say that came from Grandpa.
Yeah.
Because all the smoking and drinking and where it came from Grandpa. The dancing, the party, Grandpa.
Yeah, because the butlers...
The butlers, no. That's why they hated him so much.
Yeah. When,
they didn't like him.
And it's
Mama told me that.
It's understandable. It is.
Yeah. I mean, if you're come from a Christian family that doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't dance, you're getting with somebody that's altogether different. And maybe that's what Grandma saw him. Yeah, that's the way he was.
Yeah.
And he was fun. She wasn't used to having any fun.
Yeah.
And he was fun.
Yeah.
And she had the 2 kids when she divorced him.
Yeah.
But I don't think she ever remarried him, right?
Mm-hmm. They married.
They remarried?
Mm-hmm.
I
have both licenses.
Oh, did you? I thought
They're
I didn't
beautiful.
In the old days, they were beautiful.
Oh, they were so
beautiful.
pretty.
They're all
big,
scrolly,
yeah.
and it shows the bride and the groom. And
yeah, they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I have my
mine's just plain.
grandma's. Mine is too. Grandma Norma's, and it's like they're so pretty. They're beautiful documents.
Yeah, so I didn't know if they got remarried. I just thought they.
I think they had to. I think that there was a thing morally, and then your mom was born like 7 months later or something after they got married.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, but I just think
either that
Grandma would have been so.
Either that or was some other guy's baby.
That's just hard to imagine, isn't it?
Well, you were separated for 5 years.
Your mother is a Creed through and through. You're not. There's no way your mother is genetically anything but a Creed. Think about it. Come on.
I look just like my mom.
Yeah, she's.
I told my doctor, these are my mom's fingers. I can tell you, I'm a carbon copy of my mom.
I've got the pointing, the weird. Mine is mainly this finger.
This is both of these.
And then but my baby finger points in, and my toes are normal.
Oh, I have mine.
Like, do you have normal toe? Like, all my toes go properly down. Like, the second toe isn't bigger than the other one.
No, I have bunions.
Grandma Creed had bunions really bad.
Mama had her feet operated on.
Yeah. I remember that.
That hurts. I was supposed to get it done. I thought about it done when they told me, no, they're going to have to screw and do this and that. I think I'll just leave it alone. Not going to touch it.
I don't think I've ever had them.
Bunions are so painful.
I can remember
it's basically wearing the wrong shoes. High heels. Oh my God, I love my high heels. Mama loved shoes.
Yeah, see, I never wore.
My mom was a shoe person.
Yeah, not at all like that.
She hated it when she got old and we had to wear these old shoes. So she said, why can't they make some really pretty shoes instead of these old ugly things? And then with her leg being shorter than the other, her Kaiser made a shoe for her and built it up. I think I went and we got them.
They had to be ugly.
She looked at him. She said, I didn't wear them. I am not wearing them shoes.
Do your mom told you about Doris losing her finger?
Actually, Aunt Doris told me, but I can't remember.
Was she chopping? What was she doing?
I don't know, but it was this finger.
And what's funny is Michael's grandmother lost the same finger.
Really?
Yeah. So but I can't remember the story that goes with that.
Me neither. But I remember how she used to hold her cigarette in that funny little thing.
Yeah.
Back. They must be back.